What we do here is go back.
Kevin Duhaney, thank you for coming. And Jeffrey Parazzo. Great to have you, and thank you for bringing your respective helmets. Just in case a fight breaks out.
Gotta be prepared.
Absolutely.
Always gotta bring protection.
I know you guys are no stranger to this kind of thing and doing these kinds of Q&As and talking about what you guys do, but of course you guys are here because you're both Power Rangers.
Yes.
However, both of you are veteran actors already, even though you're both still quite young. You've been acting, each of you, I'd say most of your lives, right? Is something like this, Power Rangers, is this the big break, or do you think that you were just kind of working steadily before it and this is the current break?
I feel like I've been working steadily, and I don't think Power Rangers kind of really changed the trajectory at all. What it did do was teach me how to be on a TV series for a long period of time. Before that, I was doing small roles in movies and commercials here and there. So this was the first thing that I did that I really had to dedicate a year of work to, and it was great because for me, I grew up loving the show. So it was just a surreal experience to know that I was going to be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, I can't say it was the big break, but it was a break, right? This was the only television series I shot from start to finish. Usually I'm just playing guest stars on stuff, right?
Yep.
So, but it was just like Kevin was saying, I only started acting when I was 18. So you've been acting for
I started when I was 4.
So it was thank God I got the show. It was important to do the show because it taught me how to technically work in front of the camera. And up until then, I would do movies and I would prepare in certain ways. But you can't do that for a television series or you'll just wear yourself out, which I did at the start because I was still taking it like I was doing a movie.
How many episodes have you each done now?
Well, our season I think had 38, I want to say, and then we did 2 reunions.
2 reunions, or 40 to 41 episodes.
42, maybe, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that's something I think a lot of people don't realize with for lack of a better term, kids television. With that kids television, it's often a grueling schedule. The shows are shot very quickly, often back to back, often with few breaks. If you do, say, network drama, right? A lot of times a season is 13 episodes, in the States 23 or whatever. But with kids television, it's often cranking out many episodes where a season can, the seasons aren't the same as they are with broadcast, regular broadcast shows or Netflix or Amazon. It's because they're aired 5 days a week in the afternoons. And so those, that's why there's these 30 episode seasons, and it can be really a grind. And you do it quickly, right?
Yeah, they don't even shoot 30 somewhat episodes anymore. They do, it's like 12 a year.
Yeah.
And then you go back for 2 seasons. You do 12, hiatus, then 12.
Yeah.
As opposed to when we were doing it, they were just crushing, churning them all out.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of a funny thing. I think a lot of people don't realize, as a professional actor, there's so many different degrees of the business, right? So, like you said, it can be the small part on Suits, right? And you go in for maybe just a couple of days, maybe even just one day, right? And you're shooting, and that's cushy, but the cushy in the fact that you're not grueling hours. It's one day or whatever. It's not the best money, but it works, right? And then, like I said, when you're doing daytime television and kids television, it's often shot on tighter schedules. And if there's kids on the show, that changes things because of child labor laws.
They got to get their schooling in too. Set aside time. So it does. And it was really grueling doing the show. I think I had maybe one day off a week, and we were doing maybe maybe if we were lucky, and it was 16 to 18-hour days.
Always.
Yeah.
And this, as nice as it is, it's steady work, it's good work, you get to do these conventions and meet people, and you get to be iconic characters. But I think a lot of people also don't realize it's not Brad Pitt money either, right? You know what I mean? So it's you have to constantly
90% of the money out there is in Brad Pitt money.
right. That's what I mean.
99%.
But just even being on a TV series, I think a lot of people don't realize that it's you've got to keep working to keep making a living.
Oh yeah,
And
always.
so the more episodes you do, you know what I mean? At the same time, that can be exhausting.
Especially in the Canadian industry, because
Yeah.
we don't get residuals or anything like that. In the States, you can do a show and it'll sustain you,
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because you get paid fairly. We don't get paid fairly in Canada.
So for those of you that don't know, the way the unions work is different from the States and Canada. And the fact that if you do, like say you're a regular on a TV series in the States, there are what they say the residuals. It's you continue to make royalties as the show continues to air. And you know your contract often renews every 6 months, every year, every season, every show. And that includes commercial work a lot of times, and
I mean, we do have that in
Commercials,
Canada,
we get
but it's
residuals for
just for
commercials.
this show specifically.
well, that's what I'm saying is so in Canada you can get the residuals, you can do that.
They just have different percentages.
But then there's also there's
And it
different
depends on if it's
percentages.
an American project versus a Canadian project.
Yeah, and it depends on the role, and it depends on if you're a regular.
Yep.
And again, if it's kids television, a lot of times it's what they call a straight buyout, and you're paid the one time, the one episode, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
You
So
might get like a $5 residual in 2 years, or like a 60-cent residual.
I get those every once in a while. I get the $2 checks
It's like,
for
right.
something from 5 years back.
Save the check.
Did you guys know each other before Power Rangers?
No, I met this guy at the airport on the way there.
Really?
Yeah. I got pulled out of the line and I was getting patted down, and he walked by. Did this, and then I walked on the plane and he was sitting there and he was like, "Hey, are you going to Power Rangers?" I was like, "Yeah, you?" Like, "Yeah." Been friends ever since. Yeah.
Where do you shoot? Where do you film Power Rangers?
Auckland, New Zealand.
Fantastic.
That's a long flight.
Very long flight. 18 hours?
27.
It's 18 up there.
The 27.
27 now.
No.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
No, it's not 18.
18-hour flight.
18 to 20, it just depends on your layover.
Yeah.
It's a, it's the 4-hour flight of, I guess, 5 going to the West Coast, Vancouver or LA,
And then 12.
and then it's a 12.
To,
Very cool. Now, do you both still live in Toronto?
yeah.
Yeah.
Based out here most of the time.
What, a lot of, I wonder if people wouldn't think this, but it is challenging to step into iconic roles, an iconic brand. Power Rangers has been around as long as you guys have been alive, So what's the biggest challenge for stepping into something like that and knowing that you're going to have to do this for at least 30 episodes, if not more, 40?
For me, it was frightening because I grew up watching the show.
Yeah.
And actually, as a kid, I used to run around and tell everyone I'm going to be a Power Ranger when I grow up. Like, that was my thing as a kid. I used to be late to school watching the show. And then I got the audition, and I didn't know it was Power Rangers at first. They just, sent a script with the character, and, I went in there and I did it. And then I got a call back, and then I ended up booking the role, and I didn't even know what color I was going to be until I got there.
Really?
And then the crazy part was when I got there, JDF was in our season. He was my favorite Power Ranger as a kid. Like, I had his pajamas. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So then I saw him, and I was like to Jeff, "You know who that is?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, it's Jason. He's an actor." Like, Jeff, I didn't know. It's like, I just met him. It's no big deal to Jeff. You are on there, like, oh my gosh. So yeah, for me it was nerve-wracking just because I grew up watching the show. So I felt like I had, I knew what I had to. It was a lot to live up to in my head, so I felt like I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself. But in the end, it worked out.
It worked out well.
Yeah.
I had no pressure because I missed the show. Like
Yeah.
I knew it was on.
You'd
course.
have to
But I
live
didn't
to
watch
not
the
know
show.
it, right?
I didn't watch the show.
Yeah.
So, it took me 2 months to sign my contract
Wow.
because I was just debating. Like,
Oh yeah,
do I-
we were waiting on him.
do I
Literally,
do this?
literally,
Do I
yeah.
do this?
Wow.
I started doing a lot of independent films, and I was really into that.
Yeah.
And I was like, how's this going to change? How's this going to change the course of things? I guess I was just used to starving. And I didn't want to, and I was just so used to that struggle. And then jumping into like, all of a sudden now I'm Power Rangers working for Disney. And is this the right move? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And everyone's like, yeah.
That was the scariest part
It
though.
was, I didn't know. It took me 2 months.
You know, getting on the plane and knowing you're going somewhere, you're not gonna know anyone, you're gonna be there for 9 months.
Is that how long? About a year.
Yeah.
2.5 months.
Now, see, that's the thing is, like I said, you'd have to live in a cave to not know Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I admit it's something that I've only come to watch because I have kids now. I mean, I've always been just slightly too old.
Forced into it now.
I'm sorry?
Forced into it now.
Yeah, but, well, and
I apologize.
also, but no, there's something to be said about also it's not just having kids, it's when you get older and you have the time and you finally hear, well, I'm gonna watch this thing I've heard about for so long, right? I mean, when Power Rangers first hit big, I was already in my 20s, so I was too old to be watching the kids show, right? And now, and that's kind of funny, then when you hit 40, then you kind of go, oh, now I'm old enough to watch a kids show. So it's an enjoyable thing. But I could see the pressure of, there's always in the back of your mind that pressure of, no one wants to be the guy that only did one album with Kiss.
Yeah.
Right? So you go, oh, I don't want to go on the message boards and find out that I'm the Power Ranger that everybody hates.
There's always going to be someone who hates you.
Yeah,
Nothing
absolutely.
you can do about that.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing also about working in genre, you know what I mean? Working in comic books or comic book shows, movies, or whatever, is that there are going to be people that came before you, there's going to be people that come after, and there's going to be those diehard fans that can be really wonderful, or they can hate you. And I mean, how do you guys deal with that? Do you ignore the online comments and the trolls?
Oh yeah, if you're gonna do this, you have to have thick skin. I mean, we have to deal with rejection every day, pretty much. You go into an audition, you don't get it for whatever reason.
You don't get most of what you're going for.
So it's something you just build up a thick skin to a lot of the stuff, and you don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, you see it, but,
yeah.
I don't know, like when we first did it, my character was the evil ranger, turns into a good ranger after. It's very much like the JDF character in the first season with the green and white. And I remember a lot of people really didn't like the way I was playing it back then. But I purposely played it in a different way because I didn't want it to be like the stereotypical outsider coming in.
Yeah.
He's like the anti-hero on the series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chip on his shoulder, trying to play it too cool. I didn't want that,
Yeah.
So I wanted to come at it from a different angle, and only since doing the conventions, I actually see people who actually get it and got that I was coming from a different place
Yeah.
with him. Because if not, it would just be like a copy
Yeah.
of something else, right? Or what's always, you always see these characters and they're all, a lot of them play it the same way,
Standard.
The standard, they come in, rebel's the wrong word, because Trent wasn't a rebel.
Yeah.
But that type of character comes in, he's like, he tries to be the cool guy, or he is the cool guy. The other guys don't necessarily like him because they think he's competition, he gets the girl. Because that's how, even on Power Rangers, that's how our show was. I just wanted to be the guy that's just trying to look for new friends because he just moved and he was adopted and he lost his family and he's trying to make friends with everyone, so he's trying to be good to everyone. I wanted to come across that way.
Yeah.
Do
you guys go to fan sites and message boards and read the comments discreetly or anonymously or anything?
Rarely, no.
Rarely. When I was curious when we first did the show, when the first 5 episodes
I know the
aired,
only time I ever did it.
just to see the feedback, because we didn't have social media back then, right? So
Yeah.
we go on Ranger board,
Yeah,
something like that, right?
yeah.
You go on that to try to see what people are, saying about you and how the show is, because it wasn't aired in New Zealand when we
Right.
shot, so we were shooting and we had no idea what was happening.
What was the turnaround? You were shooting and then how soon did it go to air?
Quick, actually.
Because that's the other thing about kid shows and daytime.
Wasn't it
TV,
like 2
the
months?
turnaround fast.
I think it was 2 or
3
3 months difference.
Yeah.
So it was pretty quick.
That's
And,
very- that's actually very
it
quick
took a
in
little
time.
while to get going. Once
Yeah.
we started moving in, it was basically 2 to 3 months.
What's the hardest part about shooting an episode of a Power Rangers show?
The ADR.
Yeah, I'd say between the ADR and the fight scenes.
For everybody that doesn't know what ADR, it's additional dialogue recording.
So
In studio stuff.
they do the fight scenes and all the characters in suit, and then after that we have to go into the studio and put our voice on top of it because it's not actually us in suits.
Yeah.
So that was something that we did every day after we would be on set. So we'd be on set till about 6, and then from there we would go to ADR and we'd do all the voice stuff till about 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It was tiring. I remember because I had to do it for the good. I did the voice for the Evil Ranger as well.
Mhm.
And man, I must have shot it was like 160 hours. How long was those? How long was those
Actually, I
sessions?
did a lot.
That's a lot, right?
We did like 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day. It was a lot.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't that long. It was like a good week and a half's work of Evil Ranger voice that we chose the voice. And then it got sent out to LA and Disney's like, we can't use that voice.
How come?
It was too dark.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
too something. I don't know what it
Too
was.
scary, I think.
So then I had to go and do that whole week and a half over again. It was already agreed and like okayed
Yeah,
in New Zealand,
yeah.
and then it had to get all changed.
And you didn't get paid extra.
You usually get paid extra.
Did you get paid extra?
You get paid for that.
Okay, at least you
anytime
got
they're in there
paid.
doing it,
Anytime
yeah,
you're in there,
you don't
you
lose
get paid.
But
lose
I'm
money,
saying,
but
at least you got paid extra, right? At least it wasn't like, hey, look, man, we already paid you, it's in the contract, go back and do the voice.
yeah,
again.
you know they pay you, but you don't like you can keep the money. I'd be happy not to go in there to do
Oh
that.
man,
Like, your
I
voice,
hated ADR so much, I hid one day.
it's tough on your voice after a while.
I actually hid from production, so
Really?
I didn't have to go to the ADR. It was my day off, and they called me, and they were like, "Oh no, we need you to come in to do ADR." And I was like, "Nope, my day off," because day offs were like so scarce during this show that I was like, "No, I have so much planned. You're not getting me to come in." And they literally showed up at my apartment and like knocked on the door as I was like getting ready to leave, and I was like, "Oh no." Here, and then they're like, Kevin, were you in there? And then I hear my landlord is with the guy who runs ADR. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, just open it. Let's see if he's in there." And I went, "Oh, what do I do now?" Because they've been knocking and I haven't been answering. Like, I can't turn back now. Like, you know.
Hey,
So
guys.
first thought was run into the closet,
Yeah.
hid between my shirts. It's like, okay, they're gonna look around and leave. So I heard the
Texting me.
landlord. I was
In the
texting him
closet.
while I was in the closet. He was like, "I'm throwing my apartment. I'm in the closet. I'm hiding."
You're supposed to meet me.
I was.
So you were actually trapped in the closet.
Trapped in the closet, and I hear my landlord like, "Yeah, see, he's not here. Let's go." And then Jim, the guy who runs ADR, was like, let's check in the closet. I'm like, why do you want to check in the closet?
Check in the closet. Wow, boy, they were on a hunt for you.
I opened the closet, and there I was in between my shirts. We just looked at each other and he goes, "Kevin, what are you doing?" I go, "What are you doing?" Long story short, I ended up going to do ADR.
You don't always hang out in your closet? What,
You really came out
That's
of
the best thing.
yeah. So the other thing is, when Power Rangers first started, over 25, 30 years ago, when it first started, it was completely done in Japan. And
Still.
Oh wait.
and then they went and then hired the American actors and then, did everything.
Yep.
How much of it, like, did you get to see fight scenes being filmed or any of that? Or was it essentially sent to you after the fact? They still film a good bit of
Well,
it.
the Japanese show comes out first,
Right,
and then the American show is planned around
Yeah.
the footage that they have.
yeah.
And we
So,
fill in.
So it's always been that way.
We
Yeah,
fill in
we
everything
fill in.
that's not in suit,
Right.
right?
Um,
Our season was different, a little bit different. They had to shoot
They have to shoot a lot more of your
a
stuff.
lot my stuff because again Disney wouldn't allow. It was the Japanese version
Mhm.
was too dark.
Yeah.
Like my character's name is Aberkiller.
Wait, what?
He bleeds out. Like my character's name was Aberkiller.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like it was just
really dark.
too dark.
Mhm.
So they had to. That's why they came up with a clone, so that they could,
Sure.
reshoot and have a different storyline for my particular character within that show for that season.
How
It was dark.
how often do you guys get to be in costume though? Because that's got to feel pretty cool. First time you put on that suit, right?
That's the best moment, man.
Want the
Yeah.
truth or
First
the
time.
lie?
first time I put it on, and they had to come get me. I was just in the mirror like this.
In your closet.
No, in my trailer this
In the
time,
closet.
actually. In my trailer, like in my changing room. I just was in the mirror like, yep.
I actually wore the suit once only, and that was for the promo shots before we started shooting the show.
Yeah, we didn't wear it a lot. I think I only wore it like 3 times.
Yeah. And usually with the helmet under the arm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that shot.
I don't even think I ever
wanted
put
that
this
shot.
on when I was in
Really?
New Zealand, yeah.
See, that's
It
cool.
wasn't until after the show.
And you guys are still pals.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's the best part of being a Power Ranger? You know, we talked about the grueling hours and the hard part and everything like that. What's the best part?
For me, just the fact that it was, it was always a childhood dream, and it was like something that came through. So for me, it was like, you dream it as a kid, but you don't actually think it's gonna happen, and then it happens, and it's like, wow. So for me, it's just that, and just being part of this, giant legacy, and I made a friend that I'll have for life.
Hopefully. Until you beat him out for the role that he was going for, but you.
I don't think
That's happened already.
That's happened once. Actually, that did happen once, and we never. But you were initially going out for that character.
Yes. Well, no.
Should have been me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and that guy got fired.
Yeah.
And then you took his part.
Yes,
That was
that's
how it
true.
happened.
That's
You
what
gonna tell
happened.
us the part? What was the part?
It was for
The movie called How She Move.
Oh, yeah, sure.
A dance movie.
Yeah.
It was great up until the dance. That's pressure.
Yeah.
They had
It is.
it was a month of auditions.
Yeah, it
Like
was
cornrowed my
intense.
hair. I was full in on character,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then it was like, okay,
They brought us into
They
a room
brought us into
and
a
they
dance
had all these
thing,
professional dancers there, and they tried to teach us a choreographed routine in
And
half
do
an
it.
hour, and then they're like, and do it.
I failed miserably.
I didn't
I
do that much better though, it was
We
hard.
talking- I failed so bad, I started going into like robot. Just like, oh, fill up space. I left like this, disheartened, angry, miserable.
Yeah, that was tough.
How many conventions do you guys do?
We usually do like one, not this year, but normally we're doing like 1 to 2 a month.
Really?
Not this year though. This year we've pulled back.
A lot of travel, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
I think that's the thing I love the most. It was a gift. It was a gift. I became an actor because I wanted to travel and see the world. That was my thing. Like, get to go to these different locations, work, and be in these new environments. That gets me excited. And funny enough, we got to do Power Rangers shooting in New Zealand. And when we started doing shows, like I started being able to like click the check marks on all these different places I would never normally think of going.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to do that. The more places I get to go, the better.
And you never think you have so many people, watching and
Rooting for you.
appreciate your work
Yeah.
in all these different places. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Keeps you motivated definitely when you feel like the industry is being tough, you know what I mean? Or you're going through those tough stretches. Yeah. Keeps you inspired.
And it is. It's a tough business. And I think a lot of people would think, doing something like Power Rangers all of a sudden launches you and you're done. But no, it's it's
Not
right
that.
back to the auditions.
Not
right?
that.
Now
Now with
it kinda
social
can
media,
with
it
social
launches you.
media, but
Because once you pick up like agents, casting, producers, they'll look at your social media profiles
social
now,
media
right?
is
So
now
it's
more
like
important than anything else.
you could have done one project, but that project could have garnered you, say for example, 250,000 followers.
Sure.
It means nothing, in truth. But to producers, it means that's 250,000 potential people who are going to buy tickets or who are going to sign up for that show or a Netflix account to watch it. So now you're bankable immediately.
Yeah, I'm a stand-up comic by trade and author, and it's the same thing. It's become where it used to be, demos and auditions and everything like that. Now it's a lot of, send me a quick clip of you I can see online, and then what's your social media like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how it's got to be.
That's how it is now.
Well, I mean, every agency now has social media departments. Like, it's
They're
insane.
the biggest departments.
Yeah.
Well, and fans, they want to know the actors now. They want to feel like there's a camaraderie there, and that they can, even through little comments or whatever, that they can know you and have a conversation with you, and that you're reading and that you're paying attention to what they like. And
It's strange now. I'm still from the mold of like a little bit of the mystery is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that when you're playing characters, people really detach themselves from who you are, and they can fall into the character that you're playing. But it's different because people watch and absorb media in such a different way now. I'm still thinking about it in an older way,
Yeah.
and where everyone's like, it doesn't even matter. You know, they'll still buy it and buy into what you're doing. But yeah, I've always liked a little bit of mystery.
Why don't we open it up? Questions? Anybody? Ma'am?
Yeah, I just want to say I loved your portrayal of Trent kind of coming from like the bit of the badass in the beginning and then kind of turning it around to the good guy. But also
Appreciate that.
the fact that it took him forever to figure out who his father really was until like the tail end of the season. And then so once you kind of read
Well, I
the
was
script-
holding that secret for a little bit. These guys, the other Rangers really never knew.
Yeah, so I was kind of curious to find out, like, so when you got to read the part where, okay, he finally figures out who his dad is.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then what?
Then how did you prepare for that? Or
Oh,
what motivated you to be
To-
almost kind of oblivious to that in the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know, you just kind of play it moment to moment, really. So, you know, I always knew, well, once I became the White Ranger, and once I became evil, I knew who my father was, right? Because he tried to bring me in, and I was figuring out how I wanted to play. Because like the whole thing with Trent was it wasn't that he was evil. It wasn't like, you know, it just brought out these bad sides of him, right? So my character was always trying to figure out which side he wanted to play for, you know? It wasn't like, oh, he was under spells and he's just magically evil, and then the spell is released and he's not evil anymore. I love the way Trent was because it was his choice. He got to choose his path, you know? So I loved playing knowing who my father was when he was evil, and I loved also keeping it a secret from the rest of the team. It wasn't like I didn't do anything special or anything like that. If I'm answering your question correctly. I just more played it like in the moment, like, okay, I'm keeping a secret from these guys, so that's how I'm going to play this angle. I know who my father is, but I'm not telling him everything, so I'm just going to play that angle. And Latham is such a phenomenal actor. It was just so easy to play, you know. I didn't really put too much thought into that. I just kind of played it. Like, oh, this is what's happening. We're going to do this, and this is what's happening with these guys, so we'll play it like that. I don't know, that was a big, long story long explanation of how. Sorry.
Toss your hand up if you have a question. Sir, with the beard.
Thank you. I'm just curious, do you guys feel like maybe a curse isn't the right word, but being cast on Power Rangers, you're kind of built into this box now that this is what people expect, and you know that you're this maybe kids type superhero. Did that ever slow down your process in rehearsals or anything that would have like any sort of like contracts you could have got or job offers?
It definitely slowed down for a good 2 to 3 years after I did the show.
Right, so
It's
that's
a different time.
It was, well, not
It's not
really.
a curse. It was a different time.
For
you know?
me, I kind of got a little stuck in doing that over-the-top acting for children's television. So that was, trying to get out of that was the issue. But I mean, it took a little while, but I did get out of it and, work to continue. So I wouldn't say it's a curse. It was more of a, an internal thing of just being so used to doing something a certain way that you're just breaking out of that.
Right, what about, would you say for your other co-stars on the show, like did they have any luck or were they stuck maybe just with that as their first big or their main big role? Do you know?
Well, I know James.
James is a producer.
He's a producer director now.
Oh, okay.
So Jason is Jason.
Yeah.
Right? He does Tommy.
Yeah.
Emma went on. Emma's always acting. She's always acting.
She's on Cloak and Dagger now.
She's on Cloak and
killing
Dagger
it.
now.
Yeah,
She's always acting.
Yeah.
So people are doing things.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Has either of you thought about killing the other one with a sword?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only stabbing.
Okay, all right. Just the general,
That's a terrible joke.
just the general timeline of what you guys do.
Yeah.
Sir.
So Jason and Frank played multiple Rangers across seasons.
Yeah.
Would either of you, if you had the chance, ever maybe play someone different on a different season? Like you'd be the same character, but say different color?
Different color? Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Different
I
character?
mean, I'm always open to that. What I realized is Power Rangers is really fun to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I took it for granted when I was there because you're working, you're not
Yeah.
really thinking about it. I remember our producers told us like this is going to change like so many things that you don't realize it yet. But yeah, it took me 10 years to realize it actually. You know, to just see how fun it's in hindsight, right? So you get to think back about what you did, and you're like, that was a really great time. It was enjoyable, and so you appreciate those moments. So if they called me back, I'd be happy to go. It's awkward to see them in the right?
Me too. You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I mean, as long as I get to keep my helmet. You can paint it any other color, but.
Now, do you guys actually own these, or do you actually have to borrow them from the studio or
No,
something?
these are ours.
These are ours.
These were given to us.
That's very cool.
Now, you talked about how dark your character was in the original Japanese sci-fi
Yeah.
version. Did you guys get a chance to watch the show or watch footage before you filmed, or did you go in cold?
I asked for some footage. You didn't watch any until a little bit later.
Yeah.
I asked for some footage of my character.
Because I mean, it's
Just
gotta
to
be-
see it. And I was like,
I was gonna say, it's gotta be weird, like,
But, like-
almost.
but Doug Sonoff was like, you basically, you can watch it, because you can get hints of the flavor of the character. But
Because I know some of their
It was
seasons are
really, like-
closer to what they come out here, and some of them are wildly different.
Yeah.
Or they even skip entire shows, because like,
yeah.
one was about angels and heaven and hell, and they're like, we're not.
Yeah, there
doing
were
that.
strange ones, right? But, yeah.
There was a train one too, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Like, did you ever, like, when you look at the footage, you're like, that's not my body type. Like, when you see them juxtapose you versus the person, you ever look at it and go, people aren't gonna buy that's me.
Yeah, no, I never really thought about it. I never really thought. They always try to get it close.
Close.
Right? But I think you just, if you're gonna watch it, you allow yourself to, you allow yourself to just accept it and watch it, right?
Because
So you're not gonna win an award for this stuff.
it would almost be neat if they like
It's just
went
fun.
back and, like, I know that Chef Factory and other companies are putting out the original Japanese seasons.
Yeah,
It'd be neat if they got you guys to come in and dub your characters
yeah,
from there, so you can almost play the character twice, but in
Yeah.
two different.
that'd be fun.
It's kind of too bad they haven't done that, but yeah, I was interested to see if you've actually seen like the footage before going in and it like tainted your mind.
Yeah.
Or
No,
is
it did. It was like, okay, we can't do half this stuff, but which is strange because it's Power Rangers and it's a kid's show, but it was really
Yeah,
really
but- yeah.
gloomy.
What
The
justifies
character
as
was
a kid show
really-
over there is a little different than a kid show here.
Totally, like there you're allowed to bleed out.
Yeah.
Like my character at the end, he's on a beach, literally his white suit's all full of blood. Or no, it's not his white suit, he's in his civvies, full of blood.
Yeah.
Like,
That was something.
Awesome, it was awesome.
It's a lot of the Japanese kid shows, even when I was growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, yeah, I'm old, even those, Spectre Man was one when I was a kid that was on, and characters died. Characters were killed
Yeah.
off. You know what I mean? And we're talking about back in, like I said, the late 70s, early 80s. So it's interesting that over there,
Well, they
you
just
know,
don't sugarcoat it.
what?
They don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
They
Even-
just do things the way they want and,
Even our own content, when G.I. Joe and Transformers were first animated series in the early 80s, they featured characters being killed off. And that's what they would play overseas. And then they would reshoot it with the character like just, oh, he's in a coma, you know what I mean? And he woke up, they would, for the American release.
Yeah.
So it's interesting
it's weird.
how different cultures handle that. Questions? Yes? Take your time.
It's okay, so.
We will, you think about it. Anybody else have a question while, it's just, sir.
Do you usually, like, once the footage is finished, do you, like, watch the finished product, or do you prefer not to see yourself?
I would rather not see myself.
I watch it, but I pick at things and I
Yeah.
see things that I wish I did differently and
Yeah, when we first shot, you peek.
Yeah,
You want to
of
see how it's
course.
going, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god. 10 years later, you go back and watch, you're like, oh, okay, it's fine, it was fine.
I watched an episode just the other day actually.
Yeah, I do.
You're good.
See, I've always been the opposite looking at footage myself. It's like, right after I've done it, within that year or whatever, I love it. And then 10 years later, I look at it and I go, you know.
Oh my god. It's the worst.
Yeah,
You need time to, I need time to separate.
Yeah.
Right? Because you might think you're great that day, but the next day you're a better actor.
Yeah.
It's just because it's always continually evolves.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I can pick 1,000 things wrong about what I did and how I chose and the things I chose. Never satisfied.
That's a good thing. That's a good way to be.
If you had total control over your characters, where would you have taken them?
Where would we have taken them?
Yeah. So where would
To the
you
moon.
where would you see them?
All the way. No. Where would I see them?
Yeah, where would you have taken Trent, like even after Power Rangers was done? Done and done was done.
Where would I have taken Trent? How do you have?
Or even Ethan for that fact, right? Because Ethan was kind of a computer nerd.
Yeah.
Ethan for sure would be like rivaling Apple right now with
That's-
his own tech company.
Yeah.
He's filming something crazy.
I feel like my character was in the arts, but he was also very rich. So I imagine
He'd be surfing somewhere like
he'd be probably
it's like Maui.
on his days off, but he'd probably have an art gallery or two, or three, or four, doing like art installations at like the MoMA.
Did you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Would you want your episodes to be shorter than they are?
I think they were perfect time. They were 22 minutes, right? 25 minutes?
Yes. I think any longer, and I don't know if we would have got through the season.
Any longer, I would have been an awkward resident.
Yeah.
A landed resident over there by now.
Definitely wouldn't be longer, kids TV and action TV, it's
got to be short.
It's gotta be short.
It's gotta be short.
Short to point.
Although, for the special team-ups and stuff, I still think that should be like 2-episode mini movies. Because nothing ever gets done. They want to bring so many people back. But then you get all these storylines that you're just there for the sake of having you there. As opposed to like doing something more. Like they should, if they're gonna bring you out there, they should be like, instead of a half-hour show, it should be a 1 hour. And you can split it to be continued.
Especially now since it's like 19 minutes, not counting commercials.
You know?
So you
That's
can
the
get
thing, right?
5 episodes.
I still
out of that.
totally think they should do that for like the special team-ups and
Is there a-
anniversary.
Get a 90-minute movie out of it.
Has there been-
Yeah.
Has there been talk about you guys going back to it again?
There's always talk.
Yeah.
There's actually always talk. More so than I've ever heard in the past.
Yeah, the last
Right.
2 years has been
The last 2 years of
communications.
there's always talk.
Possible in the future.
Knock on
It's
wood.
really like Hasbro, they're throwing money at it.
I was gonna say, is it all that thing
And the
that
comments.
Hasbro absorbing?
Yeah, but you know what? Even Saban started doing that. Like after the Super Mega Force battle, that big giant one.
Do you guys
People
have,
thought it felt rushed, but then they started really thinking about, Saban started really like, this can all work. This can work.
The other comics, it's always, like, there's one of the comics right now, it's like Rangers from 6 different teams went
Yeah.
together and made a team themselves.
I'm not into that either.
yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, do you guys appear in any of the comic
I
books?
think, no, there's a shot with Lord Draken, which is Tommy Evil,
Yeah,
where he had a pile of pallets in front of him.
yeah,
I think yours is there,
yeah. But I'm
of like the Rangers he's beat, but like, yeah, your character.
there's not a chance.
Did you guys, but you guys,
Chance and touchdown, Jeff.
Not a chance. I'm under there. I'm just checking what's happening.
he's thinking right
He's
now,
waiting for his moment.
I'm waiting for the
Did
road
they
to
show my
strike.
face and like then they get paid?
do you guys have, your own toys sitting at home on your shelf, on
Oh,
your
yeah.
mantle?
Yeah. So I have a whole shelf that's just Power Rangers stuff.
I have a box.
Yeah.
I keep one toy out, and it was given to me like within the last 2 years. I never saw it before. It's like a me, this big, and the helmet comes off, and it's a me. It's like my face is there, so I keep that one out because that
That was
I've never
like the-
seen
the
that
super
before,
rare
ever.
ones.
So
never
you
seen
show
that
it
before,
off?
and someone brought it for me.
Do you show it off? Like if it was me, I'd be
Well, it's
walking outside and be like,
there,
hey.
I can
Take it to the
do,
grocery
I can
store.
do one more question, and then we've got
That's
to,
me.
we got to wrap it up. The
Yeah.
gentleman here got to go back and meet everybody and sign autographs. We do have another panel coming in. Dark Matter's going to be here in a few minutes. Give that. Any more questions? All right, how about we give everybody, including yourselves, a round of applause.